It is that raw, real feeling that I can possibly fail if I step into this, if I try this very thing in which I want to become successful in. And so we stay in our comfort zone, that area of comfort, because it is within this area, this bubble, this protective shield that we have created for ourselves, in which we're familiar with our habits, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our belief systems. And within those thoughts, feelings, habits, ideas, and belief systems, we know that the ratio of failure is second to none because we're so used to operating in that framework that we understand ourselves so well. We understand what failure already feels like in that bubble of comfort. Hello, Divine Queens, and welcome to Womb Aura. Womb Aura is a sub-brand of the Conscious Freedom Movement, and it is here in this sacred sanctuary where we encourage women to tap into their highest potential in mind, body, and soul. At the Conscious Freedom Movement, we bridge the gap between science and spirituality, particularly meditation, neuroscience, and quantum physics. As your guide, it is my sole purpose to help you tap into your inner world. It is my sole purpose to help you discover your untapped potential from within. If this channel resonates with you, if this is work, inner work, healing work that really helps bring your soul to life, that really helps you tap into your passion and your purpose, I ask that you kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the success avoidance loop. We're going to discuss what is the success avoidance loop, why do we do it, where does it happen in the brain, and how can I help you through this? So first and foremost, what is the success avoidance loop? The success avoidance loop is a subconscious cycle that we engage in to avoid our very own success. And success in itself is very subjective, right? What may be successful to me may not be successful for you. What the results that I acquire in mind, body, and soul that I deem as success may not be the results that you want, that you deem as success. However, although this is very subjective, there is one thing that does remain true, and it is that sometimes we are very afraid of our own success. We are afraid of what might be on the other side of that success. Sometimes I believe that we hesitate, we procrastinate, we stop ourselves from turning that doorknob and actually walking through that door of success and leaving our comfort zone behind because we are afraid. We are naturally afraid of the unknown. Like, what comes with this area of success in my life? Let's say health is the goal. What comes with stepping out of my comfort zone, my comforting habits, my limitations, my limiting beliefs? What's on the other side of that? And that unknown can be very scary in itself. And with that comes a deep-seated fear of success. So let's talk about it. Of course, I have my notes. I'm very scientific. I am very spiritual as well. But I do use these notes, and I encourage other YouTubers and other creators to use their script. Use your script in your video. I know it might be like kind of cliche, like you may think you have to have it all together. I have found within myself that my vulnerability and my transparency in using my script, using my notes, just helps me to ground into this space in my humanness, in my spirit. And I hope it encourages you to go out there and create, to go out there and realize that you don't have to have all of the steps planned out. You don't have to have it all memorized. You don't have to have it all perfect before you start. And so, sorry, a little bit of a tangent there. So, what is the fear of success? And how do we actually respond when there is a moment of success that we can step into? So the fear of success response is often triggered by thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, particularly limiting beliefs, that arise with the thought, feeling, or idea of accumulating more success in a specific area of life. And like I said, this is subject to the individual, but I feel like we fear the success because with success comes more responsibility. With success comes higher expectation from ourselves to deliver and from others around us. With success means there has to be a level of authenticity that you have to step into. And with stepping into that level of authenticity means that you have to become fully visible, right? In that field, in that area of success that you wish to acquire. With that full visibility comes vulnerability. It comes with it. And what comes with that is making mistakes. It is that raw, real feeling that I can possibly fail if I step into this, if I try this very thing in which I want to become successful in. And so we stay in our comfort zone, that area of comfort, because it is within this area, this bubble, this protective shield that we have created for ourselves, in which we're familiar with our habits, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our belief systems. And within those thoughts, feelings, habits, ideas, and belief systems, we know that the ratio of failure is second to none because we're so used to operating in that framework that we understand ourselves so well. We understand what failure already feels like in that bubble of comfort. Stepping out of that comfort zone and risking that possible failure, risking that possible visibility, activates a fight or flight feeling within us, particularly in the amygdala, which we will dive into next, in which stops us from actually reaching levels of success that we know we are capable of, that we know our potential truly exists in and resides in. And so let's talk about that fight or flight response, in particular, that fight or flight response in regards to success. So deep within the forebrain, particularly in the temporal lobe, is the amygdala. There is a brain structure called the amygdala. The amygdala plays a vital role in processing emotions like fear and anxiety. And so the amygdala has different parts and aspects to it. We are talking about the lateral and basal parts of the amygdala. Now, the neuroscience behind this and remembering all of the names, all of the words, all of the scientific concepts isn't as important as just understanding the overall picture. And so the lateral and basal part of the amygdala plays a pivotal role in our avoidance response to tasks and circumstances that we have grown fearful towards in a process called classical conditioning. So classical conditioning was found by a Russian physiologist. His name is Pavlov, last name is Pavlov. It is a learning process in which there is a neutral stimulus, an unconditioned stimulus, a conditioned fear stimulus, and then a conditioned fear response. So let's say that you are on a journey to become healthy. You want to become the healthiest version of yourself. And in order to become the healthiest version of yourself, you have created a plan to go to the gym. You have created a plan to eat better. to hydrate more, to get more sleep. Perfect. So in this scenario, the neutral stimulus is going to the gym. Naturally, there's no emotional response with going to the gym. It just is what it is. The unconditioned stimulus, though, would be something like this. So you set yourself out on the journey to become the healthiest version of yourself, and then you begin telling your family and friends. Your family and friends say, "Oh my gosh, we can't believe you. You're a part of our community where we eat whatever we want. We drink alcohol. We do all these things that are unhealthy. What do you mean you're going to start going to the gym? You think you're better than us now?" Right? And so that unconditioned stimulus might elicit a response of fear and anxiety within yourself. You are now questioning, "Oh my gosh, I really want to do this thing. I really want to become the best version of myself, but I don't want to upset anyone else. I really want to step into this place of health, but I don't want people to feel like I'm leaving them behind." So now that conditioned fear stimulus is being formed every time you think about going to the gym, and you pair that neutral stimulus of going to the gym with the criticism of your family and friends. So with that repetition and that pairing of those two stimuli, you now create a conditioned fear stimulus, which means you're going to start associating going to the gym with the emotions of anxiety, of fear, even when that neutral stimulus, going to the gym itself, isn't even present. So what I mean by this is, when you think of going to the gym, the idea of becoming the healthiest version of yourself, the idea of actually purchasing and eating healthier food elicits that response of anxiety and fear. And when we continuously do this in our lives, we then condition ourselves to respond this way to this particular stimuli. Now, one thing I want to point out is whether you're on a health journey, a wealth journey, whatever it may be, your conditioned response to fear or getting better, even if it is not directly proportional. So what I mean by this is, let's say you want to become an academic scholar, but years ago you tried to be successful in health and wellness, and you received that criticism from your family. Now, when you want to become the academic scholar, you're still going to have somewhat of the same response when it comes to success that you had with health and wellness. You have started conditioning yourself to respond to success in a specific way. And in that regard, we begin to fear our own success. We begin to fear the unknown. We begin to fear stepping into a space of authority and leadership and vulnerability. We begin to fear moving outside of our comfort zone, possibly leaving people that we love behind. So your conditioning itself runs so much deeper than you think. We can use surface level excuses like "I'm lazy," or "I have an issue with procrastination," or "I'm unorganized," or "I don't have the willpower." But truly and essentially, you have to get to the root of the conditioning in order for you to actually change it. The open-ended excuses like "I'm lazy" or "I'm so bad with procrastination" are so surface level in comparison to what is actually going on. So there is a loop within the brain in which the amygdala actually records this response to success, and it creates a fight or flight response within the brain, within the body, because as humans, the brain mechanism is to protect us. We are here to learn how to survive. And so when we begin to condition ourselves to respond to success in a specific way that isn't serving our highest good, what we're really doing is just eliciting a fight or flight or survival response. So how do we actually get out of that fight or flight or survival response when it comes to stepping into a place of success? First and foremost, you have to understand the dream that you want to step into. You have to understand your goal. You have to bring this vision and be so clear about this vision, bring it to mind, and really step into this space where you bring this visualization of your dream, of your goal to mind every single day. Let's normalize it. Let's feel what that person feels. Let's think how that new version of us thinks. Let's believe what that new version of us actually believes. Secondly, of course, using the art of meditation to actually bring this version of you to life. And we use the art of meditation to really tap into what we call a theta brainwave state, in which we are the most reprogrammable. And this is where the subconscious mind actually dwells and resonates. So how do we step into that state of theta? You can do so by focusing on the breath and just by becoming still. Set your alarm clock to 15-20 minutes and really tap into the space of stillness that dwells within you. Using the breath, you can elongate the exhale, which trains the nervous system and tells the nervous system that I am safe. I am safe in this space. So what I mean by elongating the breath is breathing in for 4 seconds, exhaling for 6 seconds, and continuing this pattern until you can literally feel your nervous system calming down, and repeating the mantra like I am safe to be here. And when you're in this state, ask yourself very, very deep questions like, what have I been conditioned to believe about going after this dream? What conditioned me to believe this way? And how does this actually make me feel? And whatever comes up during your exploration, believe it, trust it, understand it is your soul speaking to you, and make the decision to rewire it. You want to be able to relive that experience of your conditioning to success in whatever realm that means for you, as if it is happening right now. So I want you to do so in a space of vulnerability and openness, and knowing that you are protected and you are safe in this space. But try reliving that experience as if it is happening for the first time, so you can really put yourself in that identity of the woman who was going through that experience, as long as it's not something that is traumatic and will elicit a traumatic response. But what I really mean by this is, go back to that memory from the observer's perspective, and so you can kind of get a gist and understanding of how that identity that no longer serves you actually thinks and feels and believes. And then I want you to start challenging that conditioning. So while you're in that space of that observer, ask yourself questions like, what actually makes sense to me? And does this conditioning belong to me? Powerful question, because most of the time our conditioning doesn't even belong to us. It belongs to our family, our friends, our coworkers, our employers, our bosses, and the world around us. So does this conditioning belong to me? And is this outward projection, my fear response, actually a method of my self-expression? Is this actually my self-expression, or does this self-expression belong to someone else? And lastly, can I give myself permission to actually release this conditioning? So while you're in your meditative practice, you're really doing some deep inner work from the observer's perspective. Next, I want you to visualize your desired identity. So now you have a great framework of the thoughts, beliefs, and the limitations of the identity that does not serve you. In other words, your comfort zone. Now I want you to start visualizing your identity that does serve you. I want you to start visualizing the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs, the ideas, the actions, the joy of that desired identity. So if it is a health goal of yours to become the healthiest version of yourself, what does she feel like? How does she think? What does she believe about herself and others? When she is criticized, if she is criticized, how does she handle that? How does she handle confrontation? How does she handle being vulnerable? create a framework for change. And I love this. It takes 21 days to implement a habit, and it takes 90 days to make a lifestyle change, or for that habit to become a lifestyle change. So this is just the 21 90-day rule, and I use it in my life. So for 21 days, do the same thing over and over and over again for that to become a habit. So let's say the goal is to become the healthiest version of yourself. For 21 days, you're going to do something in which the healthiest version of yourself would be doing. You would be thinking for 21 days, you would be believing, you would be acting upon in the ways in which the healthiest version of yourself would be behaving. Then we elongate that to 90 days. So for 90 days, you are going to create a framework in which the healthiest version of yourself is going to operate in. After that 90-day period, you will then have retrained the amygdala to respond differently to this new version of you. You will train your body, your nervous system to know and understand that you are an authority in this space, that you do own this space of health, of wealth, whatever it may be for you, and that is safe to be here. Focus on rewiring through embodiment. This is a very important piece. Oftentimes I feel like we show up in the world, in the physical world, and we're doing the thing physically, but we're not embodying it. The embodiment process really means that you're not just showing up physically. You're not just being the healthiest version of yourself by just showing up to the gym every day. The healthiest version of yourself, and that key aspect of embodiment, really means aligning your internal world with your external world. The way you are showing up is in complete resonance with the way you are thinking, feeling, and believing. And these are the most important aspects because your internal world governs magnitude over your external world. Because at the end of the day, when you close your eyes and you're laying down in bed, you are with your internal world. So we want to make that internal world, we want to create a frequency that is so high in which your internal world dwells in on a daily basis, irregardless of what's going out in the physical realm. However, you can't just focus on the internal feminine aspect of yourself. You also have to match it with a frequency that is equal to that in the external world. So internally, I am the healthiest version of myself. Internally, I know that I am worthy of this. Internally, I am the strongest version of myself. Externally, we're actually going to the gym. We're actually implementing the nutrition regimen. We're actually getting enough sleep, hydrating, whatever that means to you. And lastly, knowing your power, honoring your power, enjoying the journey, and celebrating all of the wins are key aspects to this. And when I say that from an internal perspective and, of course, then an external perspective. So know who you are internally. Remember, you are a spiritual being having this human experience. The human experience is beautiful. Your human construct, the ego, it's all beautiful, right? So own that. Own that you are this soul having this human experience. Own that you are also a human having this spiritual experience. Own your power and enjoy the journey. Enjoy all aspects of the journey. Sometimes I feel like we get so caught up on just getting to the destination that we forget who we had to become in the journey, on the journey. So really come home to enjoying the journey, not just focusing on the destination. And lastly, celebrate every single one of your wins. Create a ritual for yourself where you're literally celebrating yourself in all aspects. So it's easy to set a goal of reaching this this limit or this aspect of health, right? But celebrate getting to that aspect. Celebrate getting to that threshold. Celebrate climbing the mountain, right? And learn how to do that. Learn what that means like for you. Yes, ladies, yes. Thank you so much, ladies. I know this was a lot of information. I have actually attached a free downloadable worksheet called the Success Shift in the description box below, and you can take your time, go through this healing process, and really go through understanding what you may be avoiding. What success are you avoiding that you know is going to help you reach your highest potential, whether that's in mind, body, and spirit. If you are a woman who wants a little bit more personalized coaching, you want to enter into a space of deep inner truth, of deep transformation, I do offer one-on-one coaching and coaching packages. You can check us out at www.theconsciousfreedommovement.com. And remember, ladies, the freedom that you seek starts from within. I love you so much, and I cannot wait to see you on the next video. Namaste. Mwah. From my heart to yours. Bye, ladies.